Growing up, we were told that alcohol is bad for you. Remember that one uncle at family gatherings who talks funny, can't walk straight, can't see well, reacts slower, and can't remember things? Well, all of those were caused by an excess consumption of alcohol. How does this work? Well, first things first, alcohol slows communication in the brain. Imagine you send a text to your friend, but it doesn't send until a day later. Something is slowing down the communication. In our minds, it's alcohol. In addition to slowing down brain communication, it acts as a depressant to the central nervous system. But how does it accomplish this? Well, it impacts the movement between neurons and neurotransmitters. For those of you who don't know, neurons are nerve cells that are used to transmit information. Neurotransmitters are the command centers for all major functions of the body. This includes breathing, speech, thought, and movement. Alcohol affects many places in the brain, such as the cerebellum, cerebral cortex, brain tissue, and the limbic system. With these effects, there are consequences. When you drink alcohol, your brain cells begin to decrease. There's also a possibility for depression, mood changes, and alcohol dependence. Long-term alcohol abuse can also lead to addiction and health problems. Now, these are some of the mental consequences that stem from alcohol, but there are physical consequences as well. For example, vomiting, dizziness, or the pesky headaches, otherwise known as the hangover. Now you must be wondering, what happens when you're under the influence, specifically in your brain? First off, the chemistry in the brain is interrupted. You see, alcohol affects both excitatory neurotransmitters and inhibitory neurotransmitters. Excitatory meaning they stimulate brain activity, and inhibitory meaning they slow down brain activity. The brain needs to maintain a chemical balance in order to run things smoothly. Glutamine is responsible for energy levels and brain activity. Alcohol stops the release of glutamine and causes the brain's pathways to be slowed down. Next is gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA does the opposite. It's responsible for calming you down and reducing energy levels. Alcohol amplifies the production of GABA, which is why you feel drowsy. There is also dopamine, which is part of the reward center of the brain. Alcohol increases the release of dopamine, causing the brain to think that alcohol is good and makes you feel great, although it's creating feelings of depression. Now let's talk about blacking out. There are two types of blackouts, partial and complete. A partial blackout is known as a burnout. If you experience a partial blackout, visual or verbal cues may help you remember forgotten events. If you have a complete blackout, memory loss is permanent. Even with cues, you're unlikely to remember what happens during this time. The brain mechanisms that are involved in converting short-term memories to long-term memories is disrupted. The central nervous system is made up of two types of tissue, the gray matter and the white matter. The gray matter is mainly composed of neuronal cell bodies and unmyelinated axons. White matter, on the other hand, is mainly composed of long-range myelinated axons that transmit signals to the gray matter, and very few neuronal cell bodies. Long-term alcohol abuse can change the structure of the brain by shrinking gray matter cells in areas that control learning, memory, decision-making, and social behavior, and also damaging white matter fibers that connect one part of the brain with the other parts.